Hello from Safonovo. This is a podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about parachuting and let's start with the definition.
I don't know even how to start. When we talk about diving or parachuting, for me it's a kind of sport, but because I was using them too much, I have a lot to say. Maybe parachuting is previously was a way how to save people who are flying on the jets. I know, is it okay to say jet about B-plan? Because B-plan, it's maybe not a jet. Jet is something which use reactive power, yes?
Probably yes, and our airplane should be safer.
Okay, airplane, yes, you're quite right. So if, for example, you use an airplane and it is produced for the testing, or maybe you taking part in the battle, you will be hit and your engine would stop and your propeller would stop. And in this case, old-fashioned ones could be planning, how to say?
Planeering or
Planering,
planning, I
thank
think.
you. But new ones, they would just fall like a stone. So you should make catapultation and then use this special gear, which has name a parachute, to make your way to the ground quite quite slow, not to be killed by the gravity.
Well, and maybe also we could speak about the physical condition of the person who is like whether it's their will or maybe it's just circumstances, how they should, like at least to be prepared to do that. Because yes, of course, it could be like a fear, but it could be like a things like a pressure or anything like that. So what are the important factors to consider before doing that or to be aware when you apparently doing that?
Uh, Again, I don't know how to start. When you are, for example, an athlete, a sportsman, and you're flying from the plane by your wish, you could use special parachute which could give you a lot of maneuvers. But for example, if you are a soldier, if you are I don't know marine, is the question to say marine or air force? How to
Or
say?
air trooper?
Air trooper, yes, much better. Air trooper, you will be given quite a dumb army gear, and you will fall with this out of the plane, maybe in a dark night, and then you will be just opening this cupola, not by your hand, by a special delay machine which is installed to be open at a special height, and then your task is just to ground on the foot and then disassemble this gear from yourself and go to the battle. But for example, there is also some other kinds of the parachutes. For example, some small helicopters and small planes, they have not individual parachutes for the people in it, but for the whole capsule. For example, I don't know how to say, propeller will go out. It would be like отстрелянный. Shoot
Shoot
out.
off, shoot out, or shoot off.
Thank you. It would be shoot out, and then in the air would be thrown a special bag, and it will appear to be a parachute, and whole helicopter would ground on the land with help of this huge one. Or, for example, there is another way how to use parachutes. For example, some fight jets, when they land to the small landing line or in the I don't know jet carrier, авианосец.
Airplane carrier.
Thank you. Airplane carrier. They also sometimes will use hook to put it on the wire, or this special kind of parachute to be stopped in a very short way. And last one example, if you will be an astronaut and you will be detached from the international space, I don't know how to say, station, then you also will be fallen to the ground on a small round-shaped capsule, and then at some point it will throw in air like from 3 to 5 parachutes to make this capsule be landed in a smooth way.
So let's look at the entire process, maybe from end to end. Basically, yes, I will probably skip the preparation, but the moment you descend, the moment you in the air, and the last moment when you actually are landing. So what kind of things should happen in mind? And probably, yes, it could be like not a vehicle or something else, but maybe we can just focus on the human who just doing it for their free will, and they pretty much aware like what they're doing, and they have control of their gear.
You know, I had been to China like 6 or 5 years ago, and it was my idea. Maybe I should buy several thousand of drones to create a show in the air, not by firework, but by the drones. These drones have lamps, and they could change the light. And I was so fascinated by this, and I was heavily thinking maybe I should buy. But suddenly, when it start to talk about the deal, the Chinese partners they told me, but you understand that there are some limitation, like with spin and something like this. And I was saying, no, I don't know. And suddenly they told me that if there would be a school of birds, if it would be wires, it would be a lot of wind, if it would be high trees or some other technical issues, you couldn't use these drones because they have limitation. I was saying, wow, you could put firework at any weather, even under the heavy rain, but not drones. And at this point of view, I was deflating my wish to buy this. And I remember when I was sitting sad, because for me it was like a brilliant new idea, brilliant new big idea. At this point, one of the Chinese partner said, okay, but it would be the same with diving. You couldn't go to dive, for example, when you have like 5 meters wave, and also you couldn't go to the parachuting if you have like more than 10 meters per second. And suddenly I realized, yes, there is also limitation, but I never was thinking about this.
Well, and we also could look into some, I would say, like a risky situations, because like whatever could happen. For example, something could happen with a parachute. You can faint out, or maybe even the place where you're landing, it's actually might be far away. So let's say even there is like a wind or anything like that. So how usually, again, like in a broad speaking way, we might deal with such unusual situations, like in emergencies.
I don't know how explain, and I need your help. And I don't know if this exists in other countries, but in the Soviet Union, I was son of the jet fighter, and also my father was serving to the country to learn people how to drive the jets and how to use parachute and so on. And it was time when I was seeing a lot of young soldiers. They were using parachute tower, paratrooper tower. It's okay to say?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Paratrooper tower. And you know how it was constructed? It was a high building, like a 3-story building, and then you should go by the ladders, and you will put by special hook, and you just will imitate your fly and by the wire, but the main reason was not how to jump. Yes, maybe 5% of the soldiers would afraid to jump, and they would be kicked to the ass. It's okay to say?
Kicking the ass, yes.
Kicking the ass. Sorry, but it's true. But you know what's problem? Maybe twice more people would harm their leg while descending, and it was the real problem. There is you have two choices. First, people would just jump into the sound from another towel, and it's has a height like maybe 2 meters, not high, but it's quite heavy. If you have a machine gun and if you have backpack, it's quite heavy, especially in soldiers' boots and so on. And some people would fall and they will roll out and something like this, but they never harm legs, or maybe it's quite a rare occasion. But if they will use this parachuting from the paratrooper tower, they quite often will break legs. And they will be transported to the, I don't know how to say, but in Russian it would be like lazaret. To
Like a
hospital?
army hospital.
RP hospital, not by vehicles, but by a lorry track, because it would be like 15 or 20 people from three platoon which have broken their legs.
And if we look into probably, like even the gears that we're gonna use, because yes, it could be also like a sporting, so there could be like a fancy materials and all of the stuff. So whether we, let's say, if we do this, we need to look into the like using special gear, maybe for safety or maybe for, I don't know, like a more controllability. So how does the choice happening there?
You know, when you go into the army, sometime if you are not a air trooper force, then your gear would be collected and assembled by the special instructors. But if you are an experienced one, if you are athlete, you will use another way. You will use your own parachute. You will assemble it by the video camera. Or if you are in the army, you will ride on this parachute. This parachute was assembled by me, Maxim Golubь, at this date and this time. Because sometimes, especially when you have a very strict commander, people would cut some, I don't know how to say, strapa, wires.
Ropes or cords.
Ropes, yes, ropes, maybe ropes. And a person could die because of the damage of the parachute gear. So a lot of people use, for example, second one, not just a spare, but it is assembled by another team of people whom you believe, because it's quite easy to kill the person if you have some counts, shoty, some counts.
Or yeah, some
Some
depths or
points,
some
some
vengeance.
depths. Okay. So people often jump with two parachute, and it's quite often. It's in the army, in the on the competitions, and chance to be killed by the airplane is like one per 200,000. So you should fly like 80 years constantly to be killed by the plane, by statistics. But if you will jump from the plane, it's by the parachute, it would be quite lower. But anyway, it is much safer than do some other stuff. For example, if you will just make windsurfing close to the Australia, you could be beaten or killed by the sea creatures.
Well, and I do believe we reviewed all of the aspect of the parachute sport and how it could be helpful for you. Stay in peace.